towards Albemarle, north and south. It's all over the place. And so we've been hearing a lot this morning about Mountain Island Lake. That is this lake that's right here. There are multiple road closures on secondary roads like this one here off Egypt Road, all the way across Mount Holly Huntersville Road.
Good afternoon, my fellow gardeners. This is South Carolina Transplant, also known as Martin, coming to you live from Zone 8A, the Piedmont of South Carolina. First and foremost, I just wanted to take this opportunity to say, if you, anyone in your family, anyone that you're associated or friends with or impacted, our thoughts and prayers go out to you. We were in the dark here in the Piedmont of South Carolina in our local area for 24 hours. We had very little internet access. We did see some of the devastation coming out of our local areas like Florida and Georgia. We really dodged a bullet. We have some minor roof damage. Some of our plants got uprooted, but nothing like what we've seen a lot of you going through. Our thoughts and prayers go out to you. So as I mentioned, we have very little damage. Our Arborvatae got uprooted, and the thing about them being uprooted is they're in an area in the back of our property that's near a swell, which is a path where water moves past. So the ground is pliable, so I should literally be able to just pull them up and set them in their place where they were previously planted, and then once the soil begins to settle, they should take. Now what I'm going to do is I'm also going to add some biotone since the roots were disturbed and they were unearthed, and I'm going to try to time it where I can be out here around the same time as our landscapers, because although I don't have on my boot, my foot still hasn't healed properly. I was told to make sure I wore firm steel-toe work type boots when I am going to be outside, so that's what I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to show you guys the damage, and then you're going to walk along with me as I try to upright our Arborvitae trees. So while they're here, I'm going to ask them to try to help me. What I'm thinking is I can probably just right them up, work the soil while it's kind of wet and it's not too boggy, and I just want to get to it before it gets, too hard, because it's heavy clay soil. So what I intend to do is hit it with this biotone, and that way we can encourage the root structure to take a lot sooner. So I think that's it for now. Like I said, I just wanted to get to them and just make sure I worked them while the soil is still, you know, wet but not too boggy. So with a little bit of bitone, I think they'll just go ahead and take shape. So till the next segment, friends. So what I'm going to do is just pan and just take one last look before I call it a day and just see if they're all aligned. So this guy right here, he needs to be straightened out. And also, he was suffering from drying soil during some of the hottest months. I didn't realize that they weren't getting enough water, so I came out here and watered all of them, and he was the one that was most stressed, him and then the guy just to the right of him. So he's still a little crooked, and if I pan over to the right, sorry if I'm making you guys dizzy, 1, 2, 3. The third guy in also needs to be straightened out. So I already hit the other guys with espoma, so I'm gonna straighten him out, give him a little espoma, and that should be it for us. And in actuality, I think this one needs to be straightened as well as this guy. So this guy a little pull. He's down in there pretty good, so I'm assuming he wasn't as affected as I thought he was. And this one's down in there pretty good as well. And what I'll do is if they show signs of, you know, growing crooked, I'll just go ahead and stake them. Give them a healthy start. So let me pan the camera over to that guy. And as you saw in a previous segment, I did already treat him with biotone. So just a matter of getting him straight. Boy, it's soppy down here. And again, once the ground starts to dry, it's going to start to swell around the root ball, and these should take right off. So I think I went too far over, right? Can't go too crazy, right? Mother Nature will take her course, and the tap roots will go down deep and it'll grow straight. Okay, that looks like it's good. I'm liking that. So the rest of them look like they fared very well. Hope I'm not going too fast for you guys. All right, that looks like it's about it. Well, my fellow gardeners, I went to do the editing for this video and I found out I didn't create a closing. Hey, things happen. In actuality, it's a few days later, the sun came out, it began to warm up, and the soil began to dry out. What I noticed during the footage of this video is this one particular shrub was not reset straight. It's actually growing this way towards the property line and not straight up and down compared to this one. And I'll try to snap in a little footage of that. I know it's probably kind of hard to see during this recording, but what I'm going to attempt to do is I'm going to try to just stake it, putting stakes on the back end of this and just putting some pressure on it so that it can straighten itself out. Now, I tried to get back out here and just kind of pull it back in place, but I'll tell you, these plants are hardier than we think they are. It started re-rooting already because the ground started drying out and the roots started taking already. So it's not as simple as just pulling it back anymore. So it's just amazing how, you know, durable these plants are. So without further ado, we're going to switch the camera angle. I got a couple of those fence posts that you tap into the ground using a mallet or a fence or post driver. I'm going to actually mount them behind the plant, put a little tension on it, and try to attempt to get it to grow more straight. Now, some of you viewers know me in real life, and you know how I am. You know that I can be quite the perfectionist, and being a perfectionist actually isn't a bad thing in this case scenario, because these plants can grow as tall as 20-25 feet tall, and if I left it unattended to grow that high, it'll be growing that high and even more so due to its weight towards the side of the garden, and at a certain point it'll stick out like a sore thumb. So I want to try to right it now that it's, you know, it's really young, you know, just try to get it straightened out. So not only is it facing inward towards the backyard, it's also got like a little right slant on it as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this stake in the ground, and I'll probably put another stake in the ground right here, and then we'll try to shore it up as best we can. Okay, and as you can see, well, it may not come out on camera, but there's like little rivets on here, which is kind of nice. That'll allow me to be able to get the thread or the twine right underneath it and provide more support that so they won't slip off. So this is funny. I never throw anything out. Like, I try to always hold on to little things like, you know, extra hose, and I actually had some hose. I don't know where I did with it, but like tubing and stuff like that, just for little crazy stuff like this. Not only to, you know, make a drip run or something like this, but put this around the base of the trunk so that there's no twine or anything cutting into the center of the trunk. Have a smooth surface for it to rest on. So I tell you, it just pays to be forward thinking. All right, there we go. And then just bring it into the, make sure we're about that high. It would help if you're not stepping on the wire, the cord also. So in actuality, I think what ended up happening is when I reset it, it's actually further forward in the hole as well. So this one's about 6 to 10 inches more towards my right hand side than it used to be. When the landscaper installed these, they were dead even. Matter of fact, interesting story, when he came to install these, he eyeballed them. He literally came through here and walked through foot by foot and measured the holes, sprayed them, and then went ahead and dug the holes and planted them. Older gentleman, phenomenal work. Phenomenal. All right, let's take a look at it together. Okay, those are the stakes in the ground, and it's a lot straighter. All right, if I can get in here close enough where you can see those, that's the tubing wrapped around the trunk, and that just gives it, you know, some protection from the, like if I just had the twine, it'd be rubbing up against the trunk. So this way it's just smooth, and it has a smooth surface to lay against as it's growing. So that's the bottom one down there, and that's it. So let's just pan back and take a look at how straight it is or if it needs any more adjusting. And that's this guy here. So, and you can see from this angle, he is forward a little bit more than the rest of them. Just, I'd say 6, 8 inches. But when they all grow in, no one's going to be able to, be able to tell. So again, if you or any family members, relatives, friends are affected by Hurricane Helene, our prayers really go out to you. We were in the dark for a few days and hadn't realized the extent of the devastation until power came back on. Comparatively, we don't have as much damage. My plants got toppled over. We have some minor roof damage, which we're going to have the roof repaired pretty soon. So our hearts go out to you. If you have it within yourself to contribute anything, whether it be monetarily, clothing, hygiene products, please find a charity that you can send to any of the relief funds, whether it be North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee. Just please find it in your heart to be able to do that. Thanks for spending a few moments with me. It's always a pleasure spending time with you guys. I'd be remiss if I don't say please like, share, comment, and subscribe. It means so much to me. It just keeps me dialed in. Ladies and gentlemen, this is South Carolina Transplant, also known as Martin, coming to you live from Zone 8A, the Piedmont, South Carolina. Till next time, friends.